Hi everyone, my name is Christina Hanko. Professor Cox sent me a note a little while ago to ask if I'd be willing to record a short video for you all about what the first few months of working in public accounting are like. To give you a little bit of background about myself, I graduated from Elon University in 2018 with degrees in accounting and finance. After graduating from Elon, I went on to complete a one-year Master's of Accounting at NC State University, focused specifically in tax. Last December, I started to take the CPA exams and I wrapped them up this past summer, which I was very happy to have them done. And then this past fall, November 1st, I started full-time with RSM in their Greensboro office on their tax practice side. And I've been at RSM ever since. I just finished my first tax busy season 1 week ago today, so last Wednesday. July 15th is still a real deadline, but thankfully the bulk of the longer hours are done for now. While I was at Elon, I was heavily involved in Beta Alpha Psi. I was service chair for 2 years, and I went to many of the Beta Alpha Psi conferences, and I really see the value in the organization and the connections that involvement in Beta Alpha Psi can bring. So I don't have a whole lot of great, amazing wisdom to share with you all, but I thought of at least a few points that might be helpful as you first start in public accounting. I think your success overall will really just ride on being responsible, staying focused, listening and trying to do what you're told. If you work hard and try to do your best, you will be successful in public accounting. These are just a few quick things, though, that I thought you all might find helpful from maybe my mistakes or some things that I've found helpful. The first is usually when you start, you'll be assigned to probably like a senior level associate. Whether you start in audit or tax, you'll be tied to a senior who will kind of act as a mentor and a helper for you. Leverage them as much as you can when you first start in the office. They really are your lifeline for all kinds of questions. They're the ones that you can ask, where's the bathroom? Can I take PTO this day? Is there anything this manager does like or does not like? So leverage your mentor or your buddy that you're given right away as soon as you start. One thing you can ask them for is see if they have any sort of tool to track billable hours or projects. You'll find when you start in public accounting, especially if you start in tax, that you can be given any number of projects out of the blue. You might have 12 projects in all sorts of different stages at any given time. And if you have a tool, like an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, it can be very helpful to keep everything straight. So that would be one thing I would say. Try to get some sort of tool early on that will help you stay organized, because you'll just have a lot of pots boiling and you want to keep everything straight. Make sure that you haven't forgotten to send emails to someone when you should have, and so on. The other thing as far as tools, and I mentioned this already, is it's nice to have your own Excel spreadsheet that tracks your billable hours. You'll find early on that public accounting is billable hours driven. It's a professional service, so we have to get our billable hours in, and you'll have quotas for every month that you're working. So if you have a spreadsheet and you have like formulas built in, it can be really helpful to kind of know where you stand for a given month, a given week, how much longer you should work each day or whatever, so that you make your goal. That's one of the main ways that they check to see how productive everyone is, how far along each project is at any given time. I don't know if you all have heard of the phrase, make hay while the sun shines. This, I don't know, I've heard it a couple times and for some reason it's stuck in my mind. What I mean by this is, especially, you can make this habit when you start and it may end up being very helpful. As I mentioned before, in public accounting, when you start, you're staff level, which means you're in charge of prep work. Whether you're an audit or tax, you're the actual hands and feet of the engagement. You're the one that gets the work done. And then there are managers above you who are maybe interacting with clients more, pushing the project along, giving you guidance, telling you what to do, reviewing your work, and so forth. But because you're staff level, that means you can be given any number of projects at any given time. You don't really have control over your own schedule, but your managers do. And you could have 5 different managers who give you things at any given time. So when I say make hay while the sun shines, I just mean that if you have time to work on something, you should probably just go ahead and try to get it done. I've had several cases where I didn't have a whole lot of other things going on, and so I just decided to go ahead and go the extra mile and wrap up a few extra things that I know that I probably needed to do. I noticed they were done last year. I thought, oh, they'll probably need to be done this year. No one's said anything to me about them yet, but I'll go ahead and do them. I've had that extra time spent then kind of saved my life later. When a senior wanted the item right away, and I was able to deliver it right then because I'd already taken the time to do it. I had another situation where it was a Friday at 5:30, almost 6, and the manager all of a sudden wanted about 5 hours of work delivered right then, or as soon as I could get it done. And I already made plans for that Friday night. But because I'd already spent the time making hay while the sun shined a few weeks ago and had gone the extra mile to get done what I thought would eventually need to get done anyway, my work then saved my weekend later. So anyway, it can be tempting just to be on your phone or kind of kick back, maybe do some more admin things if things get slow. But taking that extra time to get done billable work that you think that's out there that you may eventually have to do anyway, that can really end up saving your life later. Having just come out of busy season, I can say that each of you all should really feel free to make a schedule that works for you and then stick with it. I made a schedule for busy season that was different than a lot of other people in my office. I made more of an early day schedule where I got into the office a little before 7 and I stayed until a little before 7 every night. And that worked really well for me. I liked it because it left me a little more of the evenings during busy season. A lot of other people in the office chose to come in more like 8:30 and then they left around 8 every night. And then now, around like non-busy season times, people have schedules that can really vary. Like I know some people get online at like 10 a.m. and then they log off at like 6 or 7. And I'm still more of an early bird. I get on at 8 and then I try to get off more around 5 or a little after. But really feel free to find a schedule that works for you. As long as you get your work done, no one will be angry with the hours that you're keeping as long as you're being productive. And having a schedule that you committed to and that you're sticking with is really helpful because you have to be able to turn off your computer and put it away at some point. It's for your own sanity. So having a schedule that you've blocked off, that you're committing to, you've chosen it because you think it's going to work, you can feel confident that you'll be able to pursue it, that other people will be happy with you pursuing your schedule. And it'll hopefully make busy season and busier times more bearable because you've picked a good schedule for you. Okay, I just have two other short notes. One thing that's also really helped me is as soon as I started at RSM, I made Word documents for different trainings that the office had. So way back in late November, our office's tax side had a 1040 prep training, and I started to fill out notes from the training in there. And then as I got emails from managers, I started to put managers' preferences for 1040s into my document, and then as I got review notes on some 1040s, I started adding them to my document. And having that document and then documents on all the other training topics saved to my desktop, available for reference, has been very helpful. Because every manager has different preferences, and you definitely cannot remember the content covered for all the software packages and all the kinds of returns from all the trainings. So having them saved, easy to reference, is really helpful, and it also makes you look more smart, because you might not have retained all the information in your head, but at least you have a record of it that you can use easily, and then you can apply that to your work when you do your work. So start documents or Excel files, something, as soon as you hear like a training or watch a webcast or sit down with the manager and they tell you what they want. And along that note, one thing I'll also say that I've found is really helpful is when you meet with a manager about a project, maybe they have you come to their cube or their office, and you talk with them and they tell you what they want you to do and stuff. As soon as you leave and go back to your desk, I would recommend you immediately dump everything that you heard from them into a file, an Excel file or a doc, onto your notepad or whatever, so you'll never remember it as well as you do at that moment. And you may, going back to my comment about having many projects going on at once, you may not pick up that specific project for another few days. So having that record saved is really helpful. You'll notice a theme in a lot of my comments. It's a lot of the things I'm saying are just about staying organized, trying to stay on top of things, and trying to keep everything flowing. Let's see. And then the last comment I have is pretty basic, but I found it really valuable to take the opportunities that are there to spend time with people in your office. When you start, everyone in your office will be new and kind of intimidating. I still have people in my office who are kind of intimidating. But the only thing that will make them less intimidating is to try to spend time with them. So I would say take advantage of different little events that your office might have, like a birthday break, or go to those, even though you might not want to eat all the cake. No, you might not really want to talk to anyone, but it would be worth it. One of my managers in the Greensboro office likes to take walks during busy season. And I started to take a walk with her, and she was one of the people that really intimidated me at first. She's a senior manager, and taking the time to go walk with her turned her into a real good friend, and I appreciated that. It was only because of that social time that we spent together, and I wouldn't have gotten that if I had continued to just sit in my cube. So make the little sacrifices to go to some of those social things. They'll hopefully pay dividends, maybe in just stronger relationships with people in your office. And maybe also it could just result in a little bit more credibility, or it might improve your good name a little bit too in the eyes of those around you at work. All right, well, that's it. Thank you all for listening to my ramblings. I really do think you all do a wonderful job in public accounting. I'm sure you're all already very organized and very social and driven people, which I know all Elon students are. But I wish you the best. Public accounting is an exciting field. You'll get to work on a lot of very unique clients and provide them with things that they really need, which is one of the exciting things about public accounting. So thank you all. Continue to stay healthy and safe in this time. I know I sound like a YouTube COVID-19 ad, but thank you all for listening. Goodbye.